In this video, I want to talk about one of the most difficult things for people to practice and to talk about, which is forgiveness. Forgiveness. It is one of the most hardest things, the most painful and the most difficult thing for people to practice. Sometimes even almost impossible for people to practice. But why is it hard for people to forgive? Why is it difficult, or why is it so painful for people to forgive? You see, forgiveness comes from betrayal and violation. Okay? It comes from betrayal and violation. So people that can't forgive or that find it hard to forgive is because they were betrayed by people they trusted. They were violated by people they trusted. And so out of that betrayal and violation came feelings and emotions of anger, emotions of frustration, bitterness, hatred, and resentment. So it is these emotions that then makes it difficult for people to forgive. I mean, think about it. Do you think that if we did not have emotions, then forgiveness would be an issue? It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be an issue at all. But what makes it a big deal is because of these emotions that are present that makes it difficult for people to forgive. So the presence of these emotions that people are feeling as a result of being violated and being betrayed, these emotions are what makes it difficult for people to forgive. So, quite often you hear people say, I cannot forgive that person. I will never ever forgive that person. Basically what they are saying is, I am so angry with that person. I hate them so much. I am so bitter and so resentful that I don't see any possibility of forgiving that person. So I made this video for two people. One, for that person who says, I want to forgive, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know where to start. I just want to give you a few tips on what you can do in order to kickstart that process of forgiveness. Okay, I just want to bring something to your awareness so that you can be aware of what's really going on inside of you. And perhaps it's from that awareness that you can be able, that can make it easier for you to then start the process of forgiving. It's not an easy one, right? But it makes it simpler when you become aware of why you actually aren't able to forgive someone. And secondly, it's for that person who says, I don't want to forgive at all. I don't want to forgive. So I hope this video inspires you to find it within you to want to forgive, because I honestly believe that all of us have the capacity to forgive. We have the ability to forgive. It's just a matter of will and desire. Do you want to or not? So if you are that person that says, I don't want to forgive, they've done me so wrong, I can't forgive them, I hope that this video will help you to relook at the whole unforgiveness subject from a different perspective, which then can inspire you to have the willingness and the desire to forgive. Okay? And so, as I was saying earlier, that the fundamental reason why people find it difficult to forgive or don't want to forgive is because there's these emotions that people are dealing with. It's these emotions that makes it difficult for people to deal with as a result. These emotions that came as a result of what was done to them, the betrayal and the violation that they've had to endure. Now, if you can figure out how to dissolve these emotions, then it makes it easier for you to forgive. So it is the presence of these emotions, as I said, that then makes it difficult for people to forgive. So then it therefore means the absence of these emotions would then make it easier for people to forgive. So how then do we get rid of these emotions? How do we dissolve them so that forgiveness can be possible for people, so that forgiveness can be made easier for people to forgive? You know, what often happens is that for most of us, even though the event is long gone, has long happened, those emotions are still present. It may have been something that happened 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 20 years ago, but those emotions are still deeply embedded within our subconscious mind. They are still there. Why are they still there? What makes them to remain? Well, one can say, well, it's because you haven't dealt with them. You haven't closed that chapter of your life, which is correct. It's also correct. But at a deeper level, it's because there has been things throughout your life since that incident happened. There has been things throughout your life that were triggering you to actually revisit that event and what happened to you. So it will probably be because something that someone says. It can be probably because something that you read, something that you are watching maybe on television, or maybe you just happen to be walking down the street and you just see something or overhear something that keeps triggering you to go back to that event. Sometimes it may even be your dreams. You maybe dream about something that is connected or is related to what happened to you in your past. And when you wake up very angry. And remember, emotions are a product of your thoughts. Emotions are a product of your thoughts. So whatever that you think about, then you are going to feel it. So as you get triggered by whatever, then you are then caused or influenced to think about that person and what they did to you. And every time you think about them, it reproduces the very same emotions that you felt when that person first did that to you, when that person betrayed and violated you. It is going to reproduce the very same emotions. And the more you think about it, the more you feel those emotions. In other words, the more those emotions build up within you, you become more angry, you become more bitter, you become more resentful and more hateful, because you keep reliving that, because you are triggered every time. And every time you are triggered, you revisit and start thinking about that person and what they did to you. And every time you think about it, those feelings resurfaces again, and you start to feel them all over again as though the event has just happened in your life. So your feelings are a product of your thoughts. So every time you think about that person and what they did to you, it will trigger those emotions. So that is why to this day, you still feel anger and hatred and resentment and bitterness towards that person who betrayed you and violated you. It's because those emotions are still there. You are still triggered. And every time you are triggered, you think about what happened. And as you think about what happened, it reproduces those emotions. It then builds up this mountain of anger and resentment and hatred in you that then makes it very difficult for you to forgive. So that is why you've been finding it so difficult to forgive, or that's the reason why you cannot find it in you to forgive someone. It's because of these emotions that are still lingering, and they are there because you are triggered to think about that person and what happened to you every single time. It becomes a loop. You think about it, then it reproduces the emotions. As it reproduces the emotions, you begin to think some more about it. As you think some more about it, you feel more. You think some more and you feel more. So it becomes this cycle, this loop of thinking and feeling and feeling and thinking. And it builds this gigantic emotional mountain within you that makes it almost impossible for you to even entertain the thought of forgiving someone. So forgiveness is so far away from you because of these emotions that keep coming up and resurfacing all the time. And the reason they do that is because you keep thinking about that event. And you keep thinking about it because you are triggered. Someone says something, or you watch something, or you hear something, or you dream about something that then makes you to revisit that event. And that's why those emotions are still there. So how then do we dissolve them so that forgiveness can be possible for you? How do you dissolve them? As I said, all of us have the capacity to forgive. All of us. It's not something that you need to ask for or pray about. You have the capacity to forgive. It's inborn, it's natural, it's within you. It's just a matter of will and desire. Do you want to forgive or not? And secondly, you need to understand that your emotions come from your thoughts. Whatever that you think about will produce an emotion. So if your thoughts are invested on what happened to you, then it will continuously produce the very same emotions over and over and over again. So in order for you to stop feeling the way you are feeling, it means that you need to redirect your attention. You need to shift your attention from what happened to you and from that person who did whatever they did to you. You need then to redirect your attention away from that. The less you think about what happened to you, the less you are going to feel the emotions that you are feeling towards that person and what they did to you. The more you think about it, the more you're going to feel those emotions. But the less you think about it, the less you are going to feel these emotions. Think about someone that you miss a lot. The more you think about that person, it's the more you are going to miss them. But the less you think about someone, it's the less you are going to miss them. The same thing happens. The less you think about what that person and what they did to you and how it happened, then the less you are going to feel angry, the less you are going to feel hatred, the less you are going to feel bitter and resentful. So the idea then is to shift away your attention from that person and what they did to you. That's the second thing that you need to understand. Where your attention goes, that's where your energy goes. So if your attention is on that person and what they did to you, then it means all of your energy is invested in that person and what they did to you. There is no way that you are going to forgive that person if that's the mentality that you have. So you are using so much of your attention and energy towards someone else instead of directing it towards yourself. And so the third thing is you need to ask yourself, do you want to stop being angry? Do you want to stop being angry? Do you want to stop being hateful and resentful and bitter? Do you want to stop that? And it's very important. That question is very important. And the way I'm phrasing it, because I'm not asking you if you want to stop being angry with that person. I'm asking you if you want to stop feeling angry. Because the moment I ask you if you want to stop being angry with that person, it means that you are back to now focusing your attention on that person again. It's not about them, it's about you and what you are feeling. So I'm not asking you if you want to stop hating that person, if you want to stop being resentful towards that person. No, I'm asking you if you want to stop being angry. Do you want to stop being hateful? Do you want to stop being bitter and resentful? Do you want to stop that? If yes, if your answer is yes, then you need to now focus on yourself. Because you are the one who's feeling these feelings of anger. They are in you. They are not in anybody else. They are in you. You are the one that's feeling angry. You are the one that's filled with hate. You are the one that's filled with bitterness and resentment and anger and frustration. It is you, not that person who violated you and betrayed you. It is you who are feeling those emotions. And the question is, do you want to stop being angry? Do you want to stop feeling the way you are feeling? Remember, emotions are a chemical. They are a chemical. So if you are angry with someone for a long period of time, if you hate someone, you are bitter and resentful, it means you are storing these chemicals in your body, in your system. You are storing this negative energy within your system. And that's a very toxic chemical to store in your system. And there's no way that your body is not going to respond to that, because eventually your body will fall apart. That's why sometimes, you often hear people talk about, they have ulcers, their high blood is just skyrocketing, people have panic attacks, people have headaches, people have pains all over their bodies, they have complications with the organs of their bodies, and etc. and etc. And if you can really look very closely, you realize that those people were actually made sick by the emotions that they stored up in their body, the emotions of anger that they have held on to for years towards someone or some people that did something to them. And eventually the body then gives in and you start to develop ulcers. You start to have problems with your high blood. And when you go to the doctor says, hey, your high blood is too high. You must stop taking oily stuff. You must stop eating a lot of salt and etc. and etc. So all of that because you had this negative energy that was stored up in your system that was then hurting the organs of your body. So your body was now giving in to those things. So a lot of our medical conditions are as a result of this negative energy that we are storing in our bodies. These toxic chemicals of emotions that we are storing in our body. So if you are angry with someone and you don't want to forgive them and you hate them, you are bitter and you are resentful, you are only hurting yourself. Because that energy is stored up in your system, not in their system. All of those chemicals are stored in your own system, and they will make you sick. They will destroy you, not that person, you. So again, I ask you, do you want to stop being angry so that you can be able to dump all that energy and all that negativity and toxins that is stored up in your system? Do you want to do that, or you want to continue harming and hurting yourself? So if you want to stop doing that, then you need to refocus and shift your attention and your energy towards yourself now, not towards that person. So if you want to stop being angry and hateful and bitter and resentful, then you need to now ask yourself the next question. How do you want to feel? What do you want to be like? Because now you're saying you don't want to be angry anymore. You don't want to be hateful. You don't want to be bitter and resentful and angry and frustrated. You don't want that anymore. So what do you want for yourself? How do you want to feel? Do you want to be more at peace? Do you want to be more happy, more excited, more enthusiastic? Do you want to be more positive? Do you want to feel good about yourself? Do you want to feel valued and worthy? Do you want to feel love? Is that what you want? Now, those are the kind of emotions you should be focused on. Not those emotions of anger that you were feeling because of what that person did to you. So the more you focus on, remember, where your attention goes, that's where your energy goes. So if your attention and energy is focused on the emotions of love and happiness and joy and peace and excitement and enthusiasm and optimism, is that if that's where your attention is and your energy is, guess what? It's the more you're going to feel those emotions, And then you're going to begin to silence those emotions of anger and resentment that you're feeling towards that person. And as you feel those emotions, guess what? You begin to dissolve those ones. And as you dissolve them, suddenly forgiveness looks like something that is doable and reachable. You look at that person and you no longer feel hate for them. You no longer feel anger for them. You no longer feel bitter and resentful. All of that is dissolved and gone because now you've now installed a new set of emotions within you. And that now makes it possible to forgive that person. Because essentially forgiveness is letting go of those emotions of anger. That's what forgiveness is. You are letting go of those emotions of anger and bitterness and resentment and hatred and frustration and misery. You're just letting them go. You're just dumping them. It's not letting go of that person. You are simply letting go of the emotions that you have been feeling as a result of what that person did to you. So you are just letting go of those emotions. You are separating yourself from them. And that's what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is not about someone acknowledging that they've done you wrong and you say, okay, I forgive you. It's not about that. Forgiveness, it's about letting go of those emotions, letting them go. So, which means then you can let go of emotions of anger and hatred and resentment without the consent of that person who violated you and betrayed you. You can let go of those emotions without even having a conversation with that person because it's not about them. It is about you. It's about you. So forgiveness is about you and the emotions that you are storing in your body, in your system, and just dumping them and flushing them out and letting them go. The moment you let go of those emotions, they will be replaced by another set of emotions, which is of love, which is of joy and happiness and excitement and optimism. And when you look at that person, you no longer look at them through the lens of hatred and bitterness. No, you look at them because you are no longer on that level of consciousness. You are on a higher level of consciousness now, and they are lower. And when you look at them, you probably feel sorry for them and have compassion for them because of what they did to you. So when you think about what happened to you, you are no longer going to be emotionally charged up. It is just going to be a distant memory, something that you just learned from and made you into a better person. So every time something happens to you, three things you can do. Number one, it can either build you and grow you into becoming a better person. Two, it can either become an obstacle to your growth and development. Or number three, it can destroy you. Those are the three possibilities that can happen in any situation that you are faced with. So what are you going to choose for yourself? What are you going to choose for yourself? Again, I'm not advocating or suggesting that forgiveness is easy, but at least when you understand what makes it difficult for you to forgive and what you can do to forgive, then it makes it simpler and a lot easier. And it then makes forgiveness look like a goal that is attainable for you, that you can achieve. Does it make sense, guys? So shift your attention and your energy and focus it on yourself. And tell yourself that, you know what, I don't want to be angry anymore. I don't want to be angry. Focus on those emotions. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be bitter. I'm okay. I don't want this anymore. I want to be happy. I want to be more at peace. I want to be excited about life. That's what you must focus on. Every day you wake up in the morning, instead of thinking about that person and what they did to you, your focus should be on the kind of person that you want to be. A happy person. Think about yourself as a happy person, as a person that is at peace, as a person that is so positive and is so excited about life. See that about yourself. Feel that about yourself. When you go to bed at night and you think about yourself, you see yourself as this loving person, as this person that is kind and good and is at peace and is happy and is positive and is enthusiastic about life. Focus on the positive things that are happening in your life right now. And the more your attention and your energy goes to those things, then it's the more it's going to produce very positive emotions and feelings in your life. So your focus, it's not easy, but it becomes easier as you practice, as you do it. You have to be a practitioner of this. So the more you practice it, the more you do it, the easier it becomes for you. And before you know it, you are just this person that is so focused on building yourself, building your life, building your career, building your friendships and relationships. You become so excited about your life. You only focus on the positive things in your life. And as you do that, those emotions you were feeling that were making it difficult for you to forgive, they dissolve. And as they dissolve and are washed away from your system, the only emotions that will remain are positive emotions of joy and peace and love and enthusiasm, optimism and hope, and all these good emotions. Those are what will remain in your life. And all of a sudden, you realize that forgiveness is actually possible. What has been making it impossible and hard for you was because of these emotions that you were harboring and nurturing, because you kept thinking about that person and what they did to you, and they kept coming up all the time. And that's why you are unable to forgive that person. But the less you think about these things and that person, these emotions dissolve. And the more you think about yourself, that you know what, I love myself, I care about myself, I want to be kind to myself and be tender with me. And for me to do that, I need to let go of these emotions, because they don't show kindness to me. It means I don't love myself. I'm not, because I'm harming myself. Pretty soon I'm going to be sick. You're going to be losing appetites. So at the end of the day, that person would have won. They would have won. And all because you let them win. And you start blaming them. And you say, if it wasn't for that person, I wouldn't be this sick. I wouldn't be, in this, all these health complications that I'm experiencing. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. And then you relegate yourself to the levels of victim. You then become a victim, and nothing good can come out of victimhood. Take responsibility of your life and realize that, you know what, forgiveness is up to me, is within my reach. And the reason I was unable to forgive all this time is because I've been giving too much attention to that person and what they did to me. It's time that I focused on myself and I gave attention and energy to myself, nurturing myself, taking care of myself, loving myself, valuing myself, respecting myself, and being happy and excited about my life and all the wonderful things that are happening in my life, and a great future that I can look